Director of PROAIR, and some of the accolades that have been won by PROAIR include Entrepreneur of the Year in 2012, Top Air Conditioning Company, Top Emerging Business Leader, Zimbabwe National Chamber of Commerce Young Entrepreneur, second runner-up, Upcoming Businessman of the Year, and Institute of Directors Director of the Year Award, among others, including Megafist Entrepreneur Leader of the Year 2016. I feel like we have to clap first before we because because of time. All right, so Mr. Munengwa, good afternoon and welcome to Drive 263.
Good afternoon, Tinashe and Shambari. How are you doing?
Good
afternoon, Zimbabwe.
All right, so as PROAIR, you guys are in the business of conditioning with a payoff line that says, make the weather behave with PROAIR. How do you make this happen?
Well, we do this by bringing comfort, heating and cooling solutions to people's cars, homes and offices. And like our payoff line says, make the weather behave. We want to ensure that in summer, you're feeling cool and in winter, you're feeling cool.
Mr. Mentorship, for young men like you who at one time wanted to become a footballer, you at some point went for trials with Dynamo's Football Club. But what really changed your career path to have your name carved among the luminaries in the business community here in Zimbabwe?
You know, God has a way of, getting yourself into the proper destiny you're supposed to be. And I remember growing up, I wanted to be a footballer, and I got an injury whilst I was playing.
Life-threatening injury?
I pulled a ligament, and I was so passionate about soccer up until now. But I got myself into hustling at Zimex Mall, burning city, selling clothes, until, I finally found my purpose, selling air conditioning and bringing heating and cooling comfort solutions to people's homes.
But back then when you were thinking of being a footballer, what position did you like most?
I played midfield. I was an attacking midfielder, number 8,
Given an opportunity now, would you want to take it as a hobby?
I actually play soccer every weekend. I'm very passionate about sport, and I play soccer every single week.
All right, Mr. Mentorship, to this day, PROAIR has received more than 7 accolades in recognition of your outstanding workmanship. What are the 3 biggest principles that make your business flourish?
I believe one of the most important things in business is to make sure that whatever service you are providing to the client, you leave them satisfied and happy. And one thing about us, once you come to PROAIR Air Conditioning, we will ensure that you get quality service from us. So our quality service, our workmanship, and ensuring that you get the value of what you are purchasing from us. Those are basically our main 3 principles that have made us be who we are today.
All right, so you've told us a brief history of how you were playing football, you had an injury, and then you went to hustling, and I say that in quotes, the street hustle.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's where you learned your business acumen through this process?
I believe one thing I've learned from the different areas of industry that I've worked, the most important thing anybody can have is your relationships. And for me, the people I knew when I was still on the street hustling at Zimex Mall, to selling paint, to selling cars, to houses, clothes, and everything I did, all those relationships I still have today. So I believe there were a lot of lessons that I learned from the street which have helped me be the person that I am today and be able to run a business.
But as young as you are, people might say that maybe let's do this and do that. How then did you motivate yourself to be who you are today?
One thing for me, one thing that made me start the business is that I got married and God blessed me with some twins. So I had a lot of responsibility having twins. And, where I was working, I was getting $300, which was not going by, being able to take care of my twins. So I decided to jump off and become an entrepreneur. And ever since then.
When you told your wife that I'm thinking of leaving my formal job so we can take care of the twins, did she not scream at first?
Something about my wife, she's always believed in me. And when I said that, she supported me very much. And I think that support is something that, helped me through the tough times when we began. And now it's paid off. And
Business Excellence right here on Power FM Zimbabwe. We are speaking to Mr. George Munengwa, who is the Managing Director and founder of PROAIR Zimbabwe. So a gradual increase in the overall temperature of the Earth's atmosphere, generally attributed to the greenhouse effect caused by increased levels of carbon dioxide, CFCs and other pollutants, that is global warming. Your company is into air conditioning, making the weather behave. How compliant are you in preserving the environment?
You know, as a country, air conditioning units use gas which is called R22, which is now being phased off to the now ozone-friendly gas which is called R410A gas. And as the country of Zimbabwe, we are now no longer allowing any importation of R22 gas or air conditioning units. So as a country, R22 gas is going to be phased off by the year 2030. And I think as a government, we are working slowly towards that. All other first world countries have totally phased out R22 units and are strictly installing, which are now called ozone-friendly gas, which is the R410A gas. So as a company, we are very compliant. We are strictly installing R410A gas, and we've got machines that when we're servicing, repairing our air conditioning units, we're very compliant and we do what we do to our best ability.
So now you've been focusing on the local market as ProAir Zimbabwe, and you are now going international. So are you also planning on looking at manufacturing a unique brand of air conditioner that speaks to current innovations and advancements in the air conditioning sector like you just spoken about?
You know, with air conditioning, we're so used to the big units we see on our walls, in our offices, in the shops and everywhere else. And you'll find that air conditioning in Zimbabwe is not so much affordable to the end users. And we are currently working on a system of bringing comfort air conditioning solutions which are affordable to the people, which are going to be energy efficient, so they're not going to be using as much electricity as the current ones that we're using. They're going to be less compactable, and they're going to be able to be more friendly, but most importantly more affordable to the end users today.
Speaking of affordability, a lot of people want to shkira kure that is it affordable to have air conditioning in your house?
It is very affordable when you look at it compared to the energy consumption. Let's say you don't have an air conditioner and you use a heater
or a fan.
An air conditioner will work in winter. It will bring you the heat that you need, and in summer it will bring you the cooling solutions, and it's a once-off installation. And if an air conditioner is installed in your home office, it will last you at least 15 plus years if it's serviced regularly. Now when it comes to energy efficiency, your heater, which is a 2-bar, right? An aircon works like your fridge. It cuts in and out. It's not running continuously like your heaters, which are going to be on all day long and is consuming a lot of electricity like your iron. But an air conditioning unit, it cuts in and out. That means that it's not going to be using constant energy supply. So in the long term, it is actually an asset and an investment for the modern houses that we now have. A fireplace is a thing of the past. Once you have an aircon, it does both heating and cooling.
So you're saying it might be a bit costly to install, but very cheaper to maintain.
Initially, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When like Chambari talked about the issue of it being expensive, that people would think this is very expensive. As a motorist, right now, somebody's listening to the radio, they've got their windows closed, aircon on, and people say, ew, it's my aircon, you know, it's a fuel. Is that true?
Do you know in Harare, where you're going to approach, wherever you are in Zimbabwe, you're going to approach a robot after a kilometer or two. So you're never going to go to gear 5. So people compare energy consumption in the CBD. But if you look at it in the highway, if you step 120 km per hour, you open your windows, physics will tell you that the air resistance is actually pulling your car back. So in the long term on your highways, that's where you will begin to see the benefit of air conditioning. And in terms, yes, it does consume a bit of fuel, but your drive was made to be cool and comfortable.
ProAir Zimbabwe, like we said earlier on, expanding into the international markets. How far are you expanding?
Yeah, we currently have expanded into our neighboring countries, and you'll find that like the news I was hearing earlier on, temperatures are going up every year, and air conditioning, which used to be a luxury, like we're saying, is soon going to be a necessity, because the temperatures are soon going to reach 40 degrees Celsius. You will not be able to work, you won't be able to be sleeping at night. So it's something that no matter what we think or say, it's something that we're definitely going to need in the upcoming.
But isn't it dangerous to sleep with the aircon on?
No, it's not. What an aircon does, remember, if you set it at, a lot of people think when you put your aircon on, you put it at 16 degrees, which is the coldest. But an aircon, once you put it at 23 degrees, once it reaches 23 degrees in your room, it will cut off. Right? And when temperature increases by 2 degrees, it then kicks back in. So it's not going to be running constantly like your heater or whatever. So it's going to keep you cool and comfortable.
Business excellence right here on Power FM Zimbabwe. Mr. George Munengwa, the managing director of ProAir, is with us in the studio. So, Mr. Munengwa, what advice would you give to some youngster right now listening to the radio doing refrigeration as a course?
Refrigeration is something that air conditioning and refrigeration is going to be one of the most sought after job opportunities in the upcoming future, because there's going to be so much more air conditioning and refrigeration units installed countrywide. So if you're listening there and you're doing refrigeration, stay true to what you're doing, and very soon there are going to be so many vast job opportunities, not only in Zimbabwe but everywhere else, because this heat wave is not going away. It's actually coming towards us here.
All right, so we are here to inspire and we are here to motivate. So that's the purpose of business excellence. Now, it's just said that success is not an elevator which immediately takes you to the 10th floor. What are some of the challenges you encountered in climbing your ladder, and how have you pulled through?
One of the major challenges I faced starting up is that I didn't really, believe that I needed help from a lot of people. But one thing I found is that having mentors, people who you look up to. I've had so many mentors in air conditioning industry, some others in business, who I have sat under and have actually gotten guidance and wisdom on how to run. When you see all these accolades that I have, it's the amount of people that I sit under. There are a lot of elderly people who we go as young people and sit under and say, how do you run a business? How do you do this? As a young generation, we fail to do that. We don't go and ask for advice and wisdom, and we think we know it all. And what happens? We hit a train, we hit into a wall and we collapse. But when we go and we ask for advice, when we seek counsel from accountants, from people who've been in the industry longer, they will tell you that, listen, don't do this, I did this, this is how you jump the hurdle. And the first years, I thought I could do it alone, but then when I went and I sat under a couple of people, I began to learn so many things, which has led to why we are where we are today.
But as with all these accolades you have won, do you hold any mentorship programs? Do you share the knowledge you have learned?
Wow, I've actually got a mentorship program which we're launching on the 21st of November. It's called the GB Pie Factory. This is
GB Pie.
GB Pie Factory, which is provoke, inspire, and equip. So this is to all those school leavers, all those guys who are starting up entrepreneurs. This is going to be a mentorship class, which everybody is open to. I'm going to post this. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be everywhere. Where people who don't know how to run a business or start can hear different stories from locally successful people here that can then provoke them and unleash them to their fullest potential.
We just got a message in from our WhatsApp platform here, 0712-831-172. Mr. Munengwa, can aircon business be powered by solar?
That's very correct. Aircon, that's actually what's going to be the future. We're actually going to be bringing in solar powered air conditioning units, I'm sure starting next year, which are more energy efficient and more user friendly.
And also another message coming in as a question saying that you were doing football and you went to hustling, now you are into air conditioning. What really inspired you into picking air conditioning as a profession? I
fell in love the first time. I used to work at another air conditioning company before, and I fell in love with the satisfaction that people would get once we finish installing an air conditioning unit. There are people who could not sleep in their houses, and I just fell in love with it. And I encourage everybody who's out there, don't ever do something that you're not in love with, because you're following money and you're not following your passion.
So the minute the money is gone, you're like,
you're not. And for me, I love what I do. I talk about it, I dress it, every single thing that I do, I live it. Yeah, that's right.
All right, so even with your experience as working under the boss, and did you ever have a situation where you felt like, why am I in this environment? Maybe I need to go somewhere else. Why are you still here?
When I used to work where I used to work in different industries, I was always learning. A lot of people think, you can just jump up and be somebody today. I believe everybody needs to work somewhere, get exposure, get experience wherever you are. And when you then decide to break out, you will have gotten so many skills, so many experiences at somebody else's expense, which then propel you to being the person that you are. So I believe wherever anybody is today, there's so many lessons to be learned. Whether you are sweeping, whether you are hustling, whether you are working somewhere else, you need to learn and absorb as much knowledge as you can, and then apply that when you then decide to do your own thing.
Like any other industry, any other business, even being on radio, any profession that you get, there is the biggest downfall at some point. Have you ever been into one, and how did you get yourself up, and what could that be?
You know, there were times where we did not have financial capacity to do some of the things we wanted to do. And sometimes I thought, gosh, this is not working. But somehow, some way, things then added up together. When you believe in something, you are definitely going to go through some very dry patches. But that is what determines an entrepreneur who will make it and one who doesn't. A lot of people, once they hit a brick wall, they most of the time throw in the towel. But in entrepreneurship, you have to stay true to it. Even if you go 4 or 5 months without a sale, you have to keep pushing. Sometimes you go not paying your employees. Sometimes you go without so many things, but then trust you me, if you hit hard on it, sooner or later it will pay off and you will see the results.
Those are very inspiring words, and like we said earlier on, we are talking to the managing director of PROAIR. His name is Mr. George Munengwa. Now, this is the thing. When people hear us saying, Kuti, he's a young man, let me just tell you just how young he is. I think me and him were in school around about the same time.
Yeah.
So we're definitely talking to our age mates, and Power FM, we talk to the youth as well. So what we are trying to do is we're trying to get you out there to think. Let's not just sit and complain. Just like economy, what. Let's try and think out of the box and get out there and do a hustle. Put a hustle. Put the what is it? Put the metal to the pedal.
That's right. Put the metal to the pedal. Yeah.
Mr. Munengwa, I got a message here. Wow, guys, business excellence. Thank you very much. I once had a fight with my dad when he wanted me to do that. But because you guys, you've brought it back, I'm going back to it.
Wow.
This is refrigeration.
Yeah, refrigeration or air conditioning as a profession. But thank you very much, and we're so proud that you've been inspired by business excellence. We are here to talk to people who have excelled in their different industries and different aspects of work, and we talk to them right here on Drive 263.
And I just wanted to encourage somebody who's out there. When I started this air conditioning business, my father personally was not very supportive of me. He wanted me to stay in unemployment. And remember this, wherever you are and you're listening, you live your own life, so you need to make the most of your own life. You need to firstly believe in yourself, follow your own passion and your own dream. You find that the most successful people, the first thing they did, they believed in themselves and they followed their gut feeling. Your friends, your family, your wife, whoever may not believe in you, but sooner or later, once you get all these accolades and all this recognition, they will be your best friends. But you'll never get there until you believe in yourself and you follow your own gut.
When is GB Pie launching again?
21st of November.
And how can they get the information?
They will get the information. I'm going to be posting it on my Facebook page.
And we'll also share it on our pages as well.
Definitely will do that. I see Proverbs 3 verse 5 on your corporate way.
Yeah.
How does it inspire you?
Proverbs 3 verse 5, I remember the very first in 2012 in April. This is trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean on your own understanding. I believe so much in biblical principles and running a business, and that inspired me because there was a time where I was so gone and I didn't have anything to do. ProAIR is actually Proverbs investment. So I was sitting somewhere, and then I opened the book of Proverbs, which I love so much, and I saw Proverbs 3 verse 5. And I had run around trying to get jobs everywhere. And then that verse just said, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding.
So before you make a move, you say, if this is for me, it's for me.
It's for me.
If it's not for me, it's okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Menengwa, for coming through to Business Excellence. We have run out of time, but before we go, Mr. DJ, on the 12th of November, 2017. It's Sunday. It's on like a scone at the National Sports Stadium as Barcelona legends take on the Zimbabwe Warrior Legends. Who's one warrior that you've wanted to see that retired?
Do me.
I always see him what's his nickname again that they used to call him? He's the commander. Yeah, so Dumisani Simanda, I always see him around, but I really want to see Tinashe Nengomasha back on the pitch.
Alongside Anna Patrick Kluivert.
Anyway, so the curtain raiser will be the Zimbabwe Derby featuring Highlanders and Dynamos. Gate fees are $2. Normal tickets, $10 for VIP and $50 for VVIP. Gates open at 12 noon. So I'm going to get in Tinashe territory for front and center.
Definitely will be there. And of course, the Sports and Recreation Commission, together with ZIFA, will be hosting Zimbabwe Soccer Legends versus FC Barcelona Legends at the National Sports Stadium. Watch it live on ZBC TV. Mr. Munengwa, to advertise, call on Harare number 443541 or 498751.
We're just throwing it out there, like, you have an opportunity to advertise. But this one thing I love about watching football. I love to watch football in the ghetto, in high density suburbs. You know why? Because when we say it's like when we say and then when it's a goal, it's
Mr. Munengwa, what is your favorite team?
Manchester United.
Manchester United for life. Thank you very much, Mr. George Munengwa, the founder and managing director of PROAIRZW Conditioning. Thank you very much for coming through to Business Excellence. It was really motivating and inspiring. We wish you all the best, and obviously we'll stick around with the Proverbs 3 verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart.
My name is Chambari and I'm here back again tomorrow, Throwback Thursday.
My name is Tinashe Chikuse. Catch you then. Bye for now.